Welcome back. Our next guest is a health coach and behavioural specialist with a celebrity following. Dr. Buzz helps clients struggling with mental illness, brain injury, and concentration issues.
You know, Justin and I developed a routine that when he feels stressed, that he can use a technique called havening that I was trained in. And havening is a psychosensory technique that actually raises the feel-good chemicals in your brain on demand.
One of those clients is Justin Bieber.
I'm behind the scenes watching him on a video camera, and no sooner does he get out there and he just had a really tough time.
Bieber's difficulties are on full display in Sessions, which follows the 25-year-old megastar through the making of his new album and shows his often rough road to recovery from drug addiction.
It was a lot, you know, like a lot of people, a lot of dynamic, a lot of stuff. I was in my head a lot, you know, it was hard for me to really enjoy it. I mean, in any workspace, you know, there's gonna be those off days, but I know that some days are gonna be just like that. I decided to stop because I felt like I was dying. My security and stuff were coming into the room at night to check my pulse. Like, people don't know how serious it got. Like, it was legit crazy scary.
A key player in Bieber's mental reset, Dr. Buzz has now become a mentor to Justin, helping the singer cope with his anxieties.
We coordinate, he and I, prompts that allow him to know what it is that he should be doing in the moment that he's feeling stressed. And then he has a coordinated signal back to me that lets me know what's wrong, how he feels, and what he needs.
Yeah, Dr. Buzz joins us now from New Jersey. Hey, Dr. Buzz. A lot of celebrities, they're in a pretty bad shape when you first meet them. So just how do you approach that?
Well, you know, the first thing that I look to do when I'm getting, whether it's a pro athlete or an entertainer, I also work with a lot of doctors, surgeons, and CEOs with brain health type issues. I first try to get everyone on a very regimented sleep schedule because sleep is the driver for all of your brain function. And comorbid with that, we typically run into people that have, you know, a lack of exercise or they're having problems with their diet. So sleep, diet, and exercise becomes the first attempted set of interventions that I look to implement with any client, whether they went to medical school or they are a guitarist in a band. If those interventions don't seem to work because there is a precursor that I'm recognizing, anxiety, depression, trauma, or someone has suicidal ideation, I will use neuroscience to investigate the brain. And the product that I typically use is Dr. Amen's out of the Amen Clinic, who's located around the country in the United States, but has very good brain and gut investigative treatment.
So, Dr. Buzz, I'm someone who's I've been quite open about my anxiety over the years and how it's affected my life. You recommend something called havening. I'm hoping I'm saying that right, to deal with stresses. What is that?
So havening is a technique. It's a psychosensory technique that's used for managing people with stress, trauma, hopefulness, people who are under the weather. And it really is an activation of what is called low brainwave, slow brainwave frequency. So when we find people who are on really bad or hectic schedules, particularly entertainers, so they're running, 18-month tours and they're getting 4 hours of sleep to include their entire team. There's a lot of high wave frequency because there's a lot of activity that is just pushing them to the point where they're lost control of their life and they're not living a healthy, meaningful lifestyle. So havening, which is used with the hands, creates delta waves, which are slow wave frequency, that when that frequency gets into your subcortical region of your brain, which is the bottom part of the brain, has no thinking capacity, it actually raises your GABA, your dopamine, and your serotonin chemicals in your brain, which are all of your feel-good chemicals. So on demand, you have an immediate response of simply feeling better. When we get more detailed with people who suffer trauma, we can use those tools to actually undo trauma for people who have suffered their whole lives, even phobias and other related anxieties. And sometimes the treatment is literally only 15 minutes long, believe it or not.
Wow.
So Dr. Stephen and Dr. Ronald Rudin out of Manhattan, who were very close colleagues of mine who did my training, invested time in working with me to understand that, and it has worked beautifully for people who are on TV, who are, in sports games, or who are operating at the table, because it has an immediate impact on your functioning, and it's self-manipulated, so you don't have to wait to get an appointment with your clinician in order to feel better.
Okay, well, that's a really great insight. Thank you very much for your time this morning. For more information, you can head to drbuzzmingin.com.